Gary, there we go. I can see you now. You're looking
Yeah.
very boss there. Where are you? Are you in your office or you're at home?
No, just at home, just out of the gym. So just at home today, you know.
Okay, great.
Uh,
Yeah.
so trying to focus a bit on stuff for the community outside of work as well. So a little bit of
Right.
leeway with my hours for that.
Oh, all right. So, Gary, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, just so the rest of the container can know?
Yeah, yes, about my journey recently, that type of stuff, David.
Yeah, whatever you want to.
So yeah, my name is Gary. Obviously, born and reared here out in Finglas in Dublin, in Ireland. Um, I was a heroin addict from a really young age. From the age of 14, I was a heroin addict. Uh, that took me to on a on a on a journey of treatment centres and prisons. Uh, I'd go into a treatment centre, I'd get out of a treatment centre, like I'd leave early and just go back using. I'd end up in prison thinking, where the fuck did this go wrong? And I go out of prison and I do the same thing over and over again. You're talking 14 treatment centres, I think 10 or 11 day programs, and in and out fellowships, NA, CA, AA, just over 20. I'm 43 now, so up until I was 40, so you can walk that way now, 20 something years, 23 years or something. So, no, 26 years. So it was a long time. And eventually I went into a therapeutic community here in Ireland. It's called Kilmoyne. So Kilmoyne Lodge. And I actually stayed in that treatment centre. I never really stayed in any of the rest of them. So I stayed there. And I went on my own journey then of getting a sponsor, going through the steps. But after I was a year clean, so I was a year in recovery, and I had to go back to prison from stuff from 2019. So when I did land in prison, I kind of had a little bit of a panic. Like, oh, what am I gonna do here? How am I gonna stay clean? I kind of decided I was just gonna do what I had done in my own community, but I was just doing it in a different environment for a little bit. I was sentenced to 18 months, so that's 13 months in prison here in Ireland. So yeah, so for 13 months, CA is not in the prisons in Ireland, so we started up CA in the prisons, uh, and then my job, St. Calpe, sent me in. David gave a dig out as well, recovery coaching. So I done that in the prisons as well. It was, I had its challenges because I didn't have these Zoom meetings. I wasn't really able to link in with people properly. But I did do it. It was the first person I think in the world, Dave, is it, to have done that within a prison. So that's really been my journey. I'm now back in the community. The past, I'm 4 weeks out of prison, so I'm out of prison now. I'm just trying to use it to the best of my ability in the community. I really loved it in the recovery coaching. So trying to apply that now within a community itself. Just as a whole, which is why I have the day off work. I'm trying to set things up. Just little ideas I have. So that's really me.
Thank you, Gary. And I really wanted you to tell your story the way that you wanted to say it. So thank you for that. So just everyone knows, Gary went back into prison in recovery, and the only way he could do this work was by getting the material and just going through the material. What he's doing now is coming here to get certified and to go and learn about facilitation to take this into the prisons, and he works for a lived experienced organization in Dublin called Sankalpa. And last week I was over there and we kind of graduated his colleagues here there. So yeah, Gary, great to have you here. I've been fucking waiting for you. Jesus, you took you a long time to get here. For fuck's sakes, mate, but great to have you here. Um,
Just blame the
and
blame the Irish prison services.
so welcome. So
Thank
what
you.
we'll do is we'll just check everyone else in, and if you could all just say a little bit about yourself and the organization that you work for and your role. Just a little bit, yeah? We don't need a whole life story unless you really want to. Okay. Let's start with Daisy, the director and lead fundraiser at Raw.
Okay. So I was addicted to pharmaceutical pills and got clean pretty much by myself. I went into Forward Trust and they weren't very helpful. And I've been sober for about 5 years and now I'm volunteering with Raw. At the beginning of the week, I was voted in as a director. And I am the lead fundraiser. So I've done all the crowdfunding and we're doing bid writing at the moment to get some more groups open. Yeah, I didn't really want to go first because I don't know what to say.
Okay. So that's great. You can always add more later. So tag someone else, and then we'll.
I will go for Katie.
Thank you, Daisy. I'm Katie. I'm the coordinator for the Lived Experience Recovery Organisation, RAW, which is Reach Out and Recover. I've been in the job for 9 months now, and I came into that job on the back of volunteering for 2.5 years for a recovery organisation. I have been in recovery 4 years in March, which is like, whoa, how is that happening? This is my fourth sober Christmas, which is I never thought would happen. Yeah, really exciting what the future is going to hold for Raw as we go forward as a new CIC. Thank you. I will tag Kai.
Hello, I'm Kai. I work for Recovery Connections as a community coach. So to sort of do like bits of one-to-one support and sort of group work. I used to be cocaine. Oh, somebody changed my name. Thank you. So like my drug of choice was cocaine, and I'm coming up on nearly 3 years now. So that's good.
Well
and I'll tag Tony and Ella
I
in
love the
whichever
way
order
Kai
they
says
prefer.
cocaine. I love it. It's
Not
cocaine.
cocaine.
Okay. I'm Tony. I also work for Raw. I am the peer mentor lead within Raw, and also got voted in as director on Monday, which I'm pretty excited about. As my main job would be at Forward Trust. I'm a group facilitator on the day program at Forward Trust. I come from lived experience. I can't really choose a drug. I liked them all equally, I think. Didn't mind. Been in recovery for about 3 years, 3 months. That's it. That's me.
He also likes my sweets a lot and tries to steal them at work. Hi, I'm Ella. I work for Raw, and I'm also a facilitator on the day program for Forward Trust, which is separate. I am about 3.5, just over 3.5 years sober. I went to private rehab. I went on the day program to get sober. Took me a few times, and here I am. Got a really bad headache today, so if I'm not very communicative,
What do you do at Raw?
that's why. At Raw, I am an events organizer, coordinator. Actually, sounds better. That's me.
Right, so Charlie or Colin?
Oh, sorry, Colin.
Hello guys, my name's Colin. I'm a recovery coach for Recovery Connections. I was addicted to many things. Yeah, lots of different drugs and alcohol, and yeah, a long checkered history with substances. And I'm a recovery coach, and I just kind of try to help and coach others for things that have kind of worked for me, things that haven't, and I'm trying to like learn new things. I really love what I do. Yeah, and it's good to be here. Loving the Christmas jumpers. Big shout out to Recovery Connections. Oh, Charlie, sorry, I forgot what I only heard half of the story of what we're
Cheers,
doing.
Colin.
Charlie,
Yeah, my name's Charlie. I was about 30 years in the madness, and I'm now 2 years recovered from my drinking drugs. I run a couple of projects. We do recover. Will be like a coaching project that will start next year, and I also run my own YouTube channel called Unfiltered Lives the Other Side. That tells the stories of recovery and people in Britain and the way that people are living in the UK today. And that's me. David, have you went? David
Oh.
Collins?
All right. So, great. So first of all, this is exciting to see so many different organizations here. That feels really nice. And you guys would have completed the recovery coaching training in some form or another. Yeah, and you work in organizations, lived experienced organizations, and the purpose of this is to help develop you guys in your roles within the organization you're in. And what's great here as well is we can monitor the organization as well and how it grows. So Raw has just gone from a Lero, and now they're moving to a CIC, Community Interest Company. And there are some structural changes that need to happen and governance changes that need to happen that are taking it to the next level. So that's a real that's something that I'm proud of, to see something grow like that, because what that sends out to the marketplace is that this organization has some governance in place which makes it run a bit more manageable than a Lero. Yeah. And what you've got to watch out for is the governance of organizations doesn't harm the people that they want to serve. So you can have lots of, like the NHS, for example, is very bureaucratic, and that can impact the patients. Yeah. And then the other side of it is if you don't have that sort of stuff, it impacts the patients as well. Yeah. And I guess what we're trying to move towards is like a community of care, and to try and break down the silos that are out there. Yep. And yeah, so the requirement to get certification is to attend 10 of these classes of 2 hours each. So you get 20 hours of sitting in a classroom discussing this stuff. So there's no curriculum as such. The curriculum is we learn from each other. Yeah. And those people that have experience from being inside or incarcerated, like Gary, as you've just shared, you're going to be the key person to be able to take this work into the prison system in Ireland, for example. Yeah. Yeah, so let's go. What should we talk about today? And I think what we're going to do today is we're just going to go for an hour and a half. Yeah, it gets a bit fucking tiring for me. And then the energy of the container drops. And then if the container drops, it's like then it just becomes fucking hard work for everyone, and nobody's learning. We're just sitting there going, when the fuck is this meeting going to finish? Yeah. So we'll go for that. And the learning there is also to like monitor the energy of the container. Yeah. So when you're working one-on-one with people, or you're facilitating a team meeting or something, or doing a prep, just always feel what the vibe is. Yep. Colin, is there anyone else with you? Because there were 2 people when you checked in. Is it just you here today?
Yeah, it's just me. It was just Vicky helping us because we've
Right.
got a
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. All
Right.
right. So where should we take the container today?
Have something maybe.
Right.
I'd like to talk about the balance between our jobs and our own recovery.
Right. Great topic. Okay. So you can see by the body language of Colin and Charlie, they both appreciated that. Okay. So let's go.
So I guess I'd like to know how people do manage that. You know, I found that a little bit difficult when I first started off in this job. I think I've got a better understanding of it now, but I think it's always going to seep in a little bit, you know, because of the nature of it. So I just wondered what people's thoughts and ideas were around that.
So are you talking about bringing your
Charlie.
work home with you? Are you talking about how we are with clients? Or are you just talking about balancing? Do you know what I mean?
Because an example, what I found when I started this job, I was using the work I did in my daily job as my recovery. And I had to remember that that's not my recovery. My own recovery is doing what I do for myself in my recovery. So interested to know how you guys manage to do that. If you manage to do that, you know, does it get blurred?
Yeah, before I had to go away on a little bit of a holiday, I kind of would seeing that I'd be like, you know, I wasn't taking on sponsors the way I probably could have, and I was kind of justifying it to myself. I'm still helping people. And like you, it became really quite blurred. But when I sat on my own and I thought about it, I knew I was just being lazy with my recovery. So despite how it appeared to other people, I knew you're not doing what your 12. What that's for me now, a 12-step program. You're not doing what that has helped you. You're not giving back to others outside of here. So I suppose being away there kind of grounded me a little bit more. Kind of got a little bit more balance on it, because I don't really have a choice in there, but I did get more of a balance on it. But I never forget that without my own recovery, I wouldn't have the job I have. I wouldn't be living my best life as I am, or whether it was in prison or here, because, as they say, and I know it's a real cliche, but your own recovery has to come first. We wouldn't be here on this Zoom meeting if, for those in recovery, if we hadn't put the work in, and that takes daily maintenance, as they say.
I think I don't think you can ever truly separate your work from your recovery. I mean, if you're working within the field, you're working a 12-step every day, aren't you? The 12-step, because you're passing on that knowledge and that information, and you know what I mean. You're promoting recovery by working in that field. But I think it's about doing that inventory. Do you know what I mean? Every day, and trying to make yourself better, like think yourself better. Do you know what I mean? Look at where you can improve. Make those changes. That's you doing your recovery in your own time. And I think, yeah, that obviously that can only improve your sort of your work life as well. I've struggled with it, as we all know. It's like I've listened to myself when you feel the two combining, and when it gets too much, and then you're waking up in the morning and you're resenting working in that field, and you're resenting everybody else around you, you know that you're obviously not putting enough into your own recovery. So that's the point. You have to then put the work in and bring yourself back. So I suppose it's listening to yourself, listening to your own body. Makes sense?
I feel like all I talk about is recovery all day, most of the day. And then by the time I get home, I don't even want to think about recovery. Do you know what I mean? And I find that really difficult, because I just feel like, I don't know, I find it really difficult to kind of want to go to a meeting and things like that, because it just feels like I'm at work, even though I'm not. And that's why I kind of struggle with that balance of also kind of my main job role that I work in. It's really difficult to go to a meeting and not have people there that might be where I work. So it's really difficult not to cross those boundaries as well. So I struggle with that quite a lot. So I do things like for my mental health and kind of self-care and things like that, and kind of say the Serenity Prayer and do that part of my recovery for myself. But I suppose kind of the rest of it, and I talk to my fellows, like my peers and that I've made friends with along the way. But I've really struggled with that kind of part of going to meetings. But then I don't really feel like I need to go to a meeting. So although they say you should go to a meeting if you feel like that, but it's very confusing.
I just want to check, is everyone here in 12-step recovery? Okay, so Kai, you said no.
Yeah, but sorry, I also missed most of that conversation due to.
That's all right. Okay.
Sorry.
So the bias in the container is 12-step recovery. Yeah. And 12-step recovery, and particularly step 12 stuff, is you only keep what you have by giving it away. And the payment for doing 12-step work is giving of your spirit and your time and helping someone go through the steps. So I'll get spiritually rewarded by helping Charlie go through the steps, and seeing Charlie struggle, I'll go, well, thank fuck I'm not like Charlie anymore, and I feel good about myself, and I'll feel rewarded. Yeah. Being in a role, running a clinic, which is running a biopsychosocial model, which sits in the medical world, and I show up as a job that I get paid for sometimes, that's the requirements there are very different. Yep. And there are challenges around that. Yeah. So we need to be aware of the challenges that could come up. Me going to work is not 12-step based recovery. Me employing people that come from a sponsorship background is not business. Yeah. You can't apply business rules to somebody. That's like, well, I mean, people can do what they want. Yeah, sorry, let me rephrase that. But you get caught up in challenges around that. So, for example, me running a clinic and employing my sponsees, yeah, when they didn't want to do something at work, like fill out paperwork because it reminded them of school and their trauma as a child and all this sort of stuff, and oh, you're triggering my step 4 stuff. It's like, fuck off, mate. The paperwork needs to get done. You need to be here for patients. You're not here to be a sponsee, yeah? And I had to learn the boundaries around that and to get clear around role definition. Okay. I've also burnt out. Personally, I've burnt out in just kind of giving, and it's driven me into a place of resentment and burnout, which hasn't been very healthy for me personally. Yep. And I've had to kind of step back and take time to look after me and my spirit, and to actually go, you know, fuck it. Yeah. And it's a difficult thing to balance. Yeah. So Kai, I'd love your input here, your wisdom, because you're most probably the only sane person in the room right now.
The first time I've been called that in my life. But I think for the way I kind of just balance things out is I try to, like, basically, because it's something obviously this job does me, like, it has extra meaning to me, but also I still kind of try my best to recognize it as just a job, even though, you know what I mean, that type of thing. So it hits 4:30, I turn all my shit off and I go home. Because the closest I sort of came to relapsing was when I used to work in schools, and I'd take shit home, fucking marking stuff. So I'd finish at, you know, whatever time, and then work an extra like couple of hours on top of that. And it's and then especially when you have, obviously, for me at least, sometimes it can be not necessarily like triggering, but it can bring up sort of unpleasant memories of things when I'm having conversations with people. So it's just to sort of make sure none of that gets took home. So it hits 4:30, everything's switched off, everything's closed down, and then that's my time. I don't take calls, I don't anything related to work, if that makes sense. So I just try and kind of just split those two up, and that's where I just keep myself safe in that way, so I can actually continue going to work, basically.
Right. So for me personally, I would love to get there one day, Kai. Yeah, but I'm just fucking 24/7 fucking obsessed with this shit. Yeah, I really struggle with the boundaries, and I'm not going to be changing the way that I am, but I do need to be aware of how my behavior impacts my colleagues. So I've really had to try and learn how not to, you know, phone people at 11:30 at night and say, "Fuck, I've got a great idea. Let's do this to fucking turn." Yeah. I've got to become aware of how my enthusiasm can impact individuals and their roles within the organization as well. Oh, I'm feeling quite excited as I talk about this. This is a great topic, Katie.
Hey, why are you staring at me when you're saying that? Is that like, I can just feel you thinking, that sounds like Tony.
What did you say, Tony? Sorry, I missed that.
So this is Katie's regular moan at me that's exactly what I do, David. It's like, I'll get this idea, I'll ring her up, middle of the night. It's like, oh, we need to do this. Like, Tony, it's 10 o'clock at night. It's like, ask me tomorrow.
I wasn't looking at you. I wasn't looking at you, but that just shows your perception, Tony, doesn't it? That you know you do that.
But it is hard to like switch off, isn't it? It's like I work in a rehab and I volunteer with Aliro, and I'm also in a fellowship, and it's like Ella was saying, it's all day, every day, and it's like I live recovery. I don't just work in recovery, I live recovery. So how do you manage that? You know what I mean? It's in your mind constantly, isn't it? It's always there. I mean, I try to separate my work life from a volunteer life, and that's a bit like what you said, Kai. 4:30, supposed to be 5 o'clock, but I shut off at 4:30. Yeah. Reckon you can hear me. Close my laptop down, turn my phone off, and then I switch it back on again tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. But then I live and I work in the area that I also do my recovery in. So the boundaries and the lines, they get blurred.
I just want to talk about workplace culture quickly. And I worked in for JP Morgan in Johannesburg, which is an American investment bank. And there's the American way of doing things, and then there's the UK way of doing things, and then there's the African way of doing things. And JP Morgan is a global kind of organization. Now, in South Africa, when you work there, the contract says you work at from 9 till 5. Yeah. And by law, those are the hours that you work. But there was a culture that was created amongst the staff there that if you didn't arrive at 7 in the morning and if you didn't leave at 8 o'clock at night, you're not really a team player. You're not really going to, yeah. So the workplace culture created this environment where it was impossible to advance in your career if you'd be called a clock watcher, or there were kind of comments there that would play out in the organization that would be good for business financially, but not necessarily good for the individuals. And this is the way organizations, culture gets created within organizations. So, as systemic wellness practitioners within your organization, you're constantly looking to see what is the culture of the organization and how we're going to develop it. Okay, this is where I keep quiet and somebody else comes in. I've finished saying shit.
I was going to say, I think kind of having like WhatsApp groups and stuff like that is really helpful, but it's also kind of really difficult at the same time not to kind of like, I think I messaged Daisy at like 11 o'clock with an idea the other day as well. Like, it's really difficult not to, because your phone's always attached to you as well, isn't it? Well, mine is anyway. I don't know about everybody else's. Well, I try not to, but it's just part of our culture and society these days that our phones are there, and it's really difficult because I only have the time in the evening to focus on my volunteer work, really, because I'm working all day. So then if I want to like think about something or talk about something, I've got to do it after 5. And then it's really difficult to kind of, like, by the time I've eaten dinner and I've got a cleaning business as well and done some work there and whatever, it's really difficult to kind of not, it gets to like 10 o'clock and I'm like, oh, now I need to think about this. And it's really difficult not to. And I think because we've got our WhatsApp groups as well and people do like, they don't go off all the time, but I don't know. It's just difficult to not message in it. I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but
I think it's like kind of a realization that maybe not everyone is as passionate, or I don't know whether that's in where I work. So even though there's people that are in recovery that work there, some of them haven't been through the 12 steps, and some of them don't take on sponsors outside of work, or some of them don't get meetings anymore. That's fine, and I get that. There's no judgment. So it's trying to find that they don't, their whole recovery. I think was it Katie was saying, or everyone was saying that you see their job as part of the recovery as well. For some people, that is their whole recovery, is working in the services, and they can switch off quite easily when they live. Whereas I don't. I practice that 12-step program 24/7. And that's sometimes that's just life. You just have to let people be people and learn that ringing. And I do the same. I like ringing people on their personal phones after work at like 8 and 9 at night. I just had an idea. So I also had to learn that, I can just bring that idea into work in the morning, and just kind of let people be people.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think you said it then, though, didn't you? Like it's about learning. Let people learn, be them, and you learn to be you. And what's right for you might not be right for them. I mean, I've had to learn the hard way most of the time, but it's like it's just about remaining teachable, innit? Just don't close yourself off and just keep yourself in check, innit? It's like if you learn them lessons as they come.
Yeah, definitely, Tony. Definitely. Doesn't mean it's always easy for me, because sometimes, probably the addict in me as well would convince myself it's like you from learning the hard way, but I'll still convince myself it's a good idea to send that message at 10:30 at night. You know, and
100%.
doesn't
I was the king of the WhatsApp group chats. I was in about 40 of them, and like well known, Tony started another group chat. Here we go. It's like, yeah, I've now like, yeah, I'm in one for Raw instead. I think there's 3 or 4 for Raw. Like, I'm in one of those now. I'm in one for my football, and then that's it. That's my group chats. It was a running
Colin, you
joke
wanna
for a
come
long
in?
time.
Yeah, yeah, interesting what everyone's at the shared. You know, I've been like round the mill of trying to get the balance within, say, sponsorship, meeting attendance, doing things that I love, hobbies, education, children, my partner, friends, colleagues, work meals, Christmas rotas. So still trying to find or look after my own spirituality, my own program. I've learned that if I don't do certain things, then things start to get on top of me. And if I don't correct certain things quickly, my ability to coach gets less and less. I start getting really internally resentful at the 12 steps in the program and the people that I work with. So I've had to learn, and I've been through that. I've been in like long periods of working in drug and alcohol treatment where I haven't really had a strong program myself. And it was driving me crazy. The words started driving me crazy. All the slogans started driving me crazy. And then it took me a long time to realize that it wasn't anything to do with the people. It was more to do with what I was lacking in doing or what I wasn't maintaining. So I've had to truthfully like learn, like most of the tough lessons I've learned, that it's still, and it'll always probably be a balance of a lot of things to keep Col on track, you know, so that I can kind of function in a really chaotic environment, you know. Otherwise, I'm not able to kind of function in that. And I've nearly fell really short of doing that, of not maintaining my own stuff, because then I get further and further away from the things that keep me well. That's what starts happening. So yeah, and it's something that's forever changing. So the model that I had, that I was doing 18 months ago, it's not the model what I've got now, because things have changed again. So I'm still touching all them bases with the same, like, the same consistency, the same regularity, but it's got to also fit in around me 9 to 5 job and my partner and my friends and my work life. But my own recovery is still a big priority in there. Still a big priority that's been like juggled. I'm trying to juggle plates and not drop no plates, you know. So yeah, I try to like, myself personally, I just try to like work along. Firstly, I've got to be honest with myself and with the people in around who I live with and my sponsor, and then I can kind of get a true perspective of what's going on, and then kind of go from there, because yeah, a lot of this stuff's not all comfortable anyway. Yeah, it's not all like mine hasn't been all butterflies. You know, I haven't just seen butterflies flying around every day. You know, so I've had to like work really hard to try to keep a balance, to do that, to keep like the unmanageable manageable. That's what I try to do. I try to do certain things consistently that keeps the unmanageability manageable, basically.
So, Katie, choose someone now to summarize what we've spoken about.
Charlie, could you summarise what we've spoken about, please?
Okay. Read Charlie's body language It just said, "Oh, for fuck's sakes, Katie, really?"
Did you just say Charlie?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck you. Let me try and summarize. I was in the conversation, but I was in and out. Summarize how we deal with our recovery and how we deal with our personal life. That was the question, wasn't it? So I've got that part right. And
That's the agenda. Great.
so I got the agenda part right. And what the container's been talking about is how each individual has been dealing with their own personal recovery and the balance between their recovery and their work-life balance. So that's basically what I picked up from the container. A lot of fellowship AA man talk and how we manage that with the balance of life. So that's what I've heard, and the only person that is not in the fellowship is Kai, which Kai was talking about. You remember when he signs off at 4:20 or 4:30, he then switches off your computer, and then that's him. He's out, he's home until he switches on his computer at 9 o'clock. And I think what I picked up is that loads of people don't actually do what Kai's doing. So their recovery is like this ongoing thing from the minute they wake up and then until they go to sleep. And well, I was just thinking something good there, but I forgot what I was saying. So it's really how we find our own solution, how we find our own solution and our work-life balance. And I think that can be hard. That can be hard, especially when work is recovery, and then we're also in recovery. So there could definitely be like this conflict, or even a conflict of interest that we can get mishmashed. So I hope that's summarised up a little bit. And Katie, you absolute bugger.
So Charlie, you done great there. Yeah. So it's the mishmash of boundaries and roles. Yeah. And Kai in his role is quite easy. And Kai can recognize when he was a teacher, he used to take work home, and the schooling environment wasn't helpful for him in his own personal life. Yeah. Okay. Which normal people struggle with in any organization. I spoke about banking, we spoke about schooling here. Okay. So let's go to Daisy, yep, who's now a director. And there's an HR issue where one of the volunteers has gotten into a relationship with someone in the fellowship, and there's been a complaint.
Well, you want to know what I would do?
Yeah, I'm just taking a fellowship issue of two people fucking, yeah, and then how does that leak into the workplace environment? I just thought I'd pick something juicy. Is that all right?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's fine.
Charlie's going fantastic. Oh,
Charlie, you can take over if you want.
great.
No. Well, I think in that case we'd be probably if it was affecting their work and their role, then we'd be discussing it as the board of directors, and coming up with what to do. I wouldn't be making any decisions by myself.
Okay. All right. So that's intuitively wise. You wouldn't make any decisions by yourself. All right. Okay. What else? Let's just explore this ethically. Gary, what do you think?
You thought about two people sleeping together in a fellowship or that sort of situation, and then they arrive in the treatment centre day program together, is it?
Yeah, we can go with that. We can go with that story.
Yeah, I think I thought that's what you were saying.
Yeah, no, that's fine. This is a perfect scenario. Okay.
Yeah, I think as hard as it may be, so when I picture, I'm thinking of in a group. So you've fella and a girl, same fellowship or separate, and they're sleeping together and they arrive back into a fucking group. So I think for me it would either be for the protection of the rest of the group, either one or two might possibly have to leave. You could offer them one-to-ones, or but having two people like that in a group is fucking toxic to the whole rest of the group.
Okay.
Because it creates a dynamic that's not healthy. It creates people start getting into contracts with each other that is not healthy.
All right.
Somebody that might want to pull him or her up, you can't pull the girl up because he might jump up in the fucking room, and it just creates a lot of stuff that affects other people.
So let's build on this scenario. Yep. So let's just play. Yep, we're all in one organization. We're all working together. Daisy's the director, and you're the facilitator of the day program. And you've had two clients come in, or people, or services, whatever we call them here, and they're in a relationship. Yep, they've met at a fellowship, and they've come. Yep, in the day program, and Gary's come to you, Daisy, as a director, and said, "Listen, here we got give me a couple of names. Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill have met each other, and they're acting out in group. Their relationships playing. What are we going to do?" Okay, Daisy, you're the director here. Just to
I'd go director Katie and director Tony. What are we gonna do?
Okay, great. All right. So this scenario's now gone to board level.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think if you'd so whoever kind of noticed it would have to whistle blow it first.
Whistleblowing now. Oh my God!
Yeah,
now we're whistleblowing.
Because I think they'd have policies and procedures in the workplace, so that would kind of probably, well, it would definitely, I would have thought, breach a policy. So then there's a procedure that you'd follow.
Okay. All right. So are there policies at Recovery Connections around this?
Well, I would have. I think there's something on it. I don't know. Like I haven't, David. If I'm honest, we haven't probably read them, but I just know from past experience that's the truth.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love the honesty here. I love the honesty.
I've always got taught that like that's one of the it is a true thing that happens that as well. You see that like. Especially in environments where there's two different, especially if it was say like a professional and somebody in treatment, them kind of things happen. That happens between the people in treatment. It happens.
No. Let's not talk. Let's just stick with this scenario. So two people that are making use of the service have gotten into an intimate relationship. Yep. And it's impacting Gary as the facilitator of the day program. And he's taken it to leadership.
What would I do?
Well, this is what we're trying to work out. This is
I would well, I think it would need to be stopped somehow. Firstly.
Okay, so you said we'd check the policies and procedures. And then you've also said, which we most probably haven't read in the organization that we're not aware of. And that's a perfect, that's like fucking Lero 101. That happens all the time.
What if, so how do we know that they're sleeping together?
Well, that's
Gary?
Because it's anonymous.
Well, let's check with Gary.
So is it in the day program? They can do what they want in the meetings. It's not a rule in meetings, even though it's suggested. It's not a rule. Well, I know because one of the other clients came to me and he said that he was talking to Jill, is it? To Jill.
Yeah.
And Jack came over and threatened because he was talking to Jill.
Right. Okay. Oh, I
So
love this. Okay.
that's how it has unfolded. Then we know that the possibly a full relationship, but at least sleeping together. Because Jack said, "Don't be looking at my missus."
There would be there's normally there's like rules where it says that you can't sleep with each other that are in the program.
So like where we work, our day job, so the 12-week program, and clients aren't allowed to form relationships while they're in the program. And if already a pre-formed relationship, they're not allowed to attend the program. So they'd be made to do it separately. So if they did form so straight away that'd be a breach of the rules, wouldn't it? So that'd mean one-to-ones with both people involved, and you'd have to work out a plan out of that one situation, wouldn't you? So whether that be both leave, one leaves and picks up again in 3 months' time, and then they start, or it's about communication, isn't it? You've got to sit down with everybody involved. It's got to be documented. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be witnessed. You've got to cover yourself.
Fucking hell, this is like documented, witnessed, protect yourselves.
Well,
Fuck.
you've got to.
Tony, I love it. I'm just building on this now. So you've got a policy. Yep, you've got rules that were read out to people, like don't fuck each other in the program. Yep, if you do, there are consequences. Yep, you'll be asked to leave. Now got to go through the process. Are you guys all right if I swear? I'm sure you're used to me by now.
A bit late for that day.
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, but yeah, I get passionate about it though. Yeah, okay. Cool. All right. So in this organization that we've created, yep, there's some policies and procedures and there's a process now around this. Yep. All right. So what's the process around getting people aware of the policies and procedures? Because we got Colin here who knows there's something, but he hasn't read anything because he hasn't been inducted properly. He hasn't been onboarded properly into the organization.
I think so. For us, before anyone comes into the rehab, they have to complete like 3 sessions of like a readiness thing, which outlines to them like, okay, here's the fucking list of rules, and then they sign it. So they've got a sort of a contract so that when they try to do that, oh, I didn't know I couldn't drink in the rehab or whatever, you can then go, okay, but here's this signed bit of paper type of thing.
All right.
But ours doesn't mention relationships. It just says you should refrain. It doesn't say like you have to, which is an endless source of joy.
All right, cool. So we've got two experience from 2 organizations here. We've got experience from Raw, and we've got experience from Recovery Connections, and we've got this new fictitious organization here where we're discussing a case. Yeah.
Just 2 secs, David. 1 sec.
No problem. Do you guys want a quick 5-minute break to get a cup of tea over this and maybe smoke a cigarette or whatever? Yeah. All right. See you at 3 o'clock. And in the meantime, I'm going to get health and safety and CQC to come and vet us all. So Gary, we're just taking a break, but I'm happy to sit here and chat with you.
Yeah. Oh, look. So, any elaboration on that there, was there?
On what?
The couple, or did you all take a break there together,
Yeah. No, management and everyone's decided, oh fuck, we need a break. This is too big for us.
yeah? The board have gone to a meeting.
The board have gone to a meeting and they just say, oh, for fuck's sakes, Gary, can you not just facilitate a group and not bring us shit?
You have to. I'm enjoying it. It's very good.
How are you enjoying the class?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Really enjoying it, yeah. Really enjoying it there, yeah. Because we haven't had any of this because I was away, like, and then trying,
You're going to be fine.
Yeah, everyone's busy in my own place at Christmas, so this is something we probably needed as well.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay.
So well, they all have their own roles in work. Mine is the recovery coach, so to talk to other recovery coaches like this and yourself as well, it's quite good, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I really want us to work on you becoming a facilitator and facilitating and teaching the work.
Yeah, me too.
And I know you haven't done the training like other people have, and that makes it even more exciting because it's like, oh fuck, how are we going to work this out now, Gary?
Yeah, it is exciting.
Yeah, you're right with that.
Sorry?
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. No, I'm delighted to do as well,
Yeah,
Dave.
okay.
I said it to you numerous times. I just had to get me emails working.
Okay, well, you're here now. Have you downloaded the app, by the way?
Yeah, I have the app sorted and all, yeah. I do.
Okay. So the reason why we need to use the app is it takes us away from WhatsApp. And we're able to then separate the noise between the kind of different and the communication that goes on in WhatsApp and all that sort of stuff. We can bring it into a class environment. Where we can actually track and do all the progress, and it brings in all the administration stuff that's needed for so we can prove that we get to level 7, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, we need you out there in the prisons, mate.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, no, and you're going to be representing us, so we must give you as much support as possible and keep you safe at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So welcome back, Katie. Welcome back, Kai. Welcome back, Charlie. Yeah. Good. Look, I'm enjoying class today. This is a nice container. Yeah, I enjoy role playing like this. All right. So we said we'd start at 3. So Katie, as the coordinator, yep, you've become aware of these two. Yeah. How does it impact you and your role?
Wow. It's difficult because I was just thinking about it because within my role, the people who I coordinate are volunteers. So in the scheme of things, I got no fucking say over what they do. Right. I've got no fucking say over what they do in their own time. The only way I would then have to is if it did impact their roles. And that would be the same for any issue, wouldn't it? So it would be, the way I would deal with it would be on a case-to-case basis. If You know, if something's happening that it is bringing the organisation into disrepute, or if it's harming the people we're trying to help, then we have to take steps to do something about that. But again, on a case by case, because it's the same with everything, isn't it? No one size fits all. You don't know what it is. And you just got to, it's the thinking on your feet thing that I've learned very quickly in this role. It's like, fuck, this has happened. What do I do now? But to bring, I think the most important thing is to bring your own humanity to it. You know, we are all just people, and we need to have those honest and open conversations and then work from there.
Okay. All right. So in your role as volunteer coordinator, it's none of my business. They're adults. They can do what they want to do. I can't do that. And in Gary's role as a facilitator in a group, this relationship issue is playing out and it's impacting the group dynamics. Yep. And Gary needs some support around this sort of stuff. It's gone to management or leadership, and they say they've got policies and process. And down in the front line here, the organization isn't aware of what those policies and processes are. They know they're there, they just haven't read them yet. Yeah. And so part of the onboarding process of staff and people can be done better. Yeah. Okay. And then we all got overwhelmed and had a break, I think.
Went for the meeting.
Yeah, you went to an AA meeting where they said, there's no rules, just fucking don't. It's an outside issue, we're not interested. All right, cool. So let's carry on. Where were we? So it's the next day, Gary. Yep. And they both come to group. Now what?
So they both come to group. You know, so it's well, me personally, most things I would like that people bring to me. So I would either try and get a client to challenge someone else myself in a group. You know, it's their group.
Right. That was intuitive, Gary.
Well, I might be facilitating, but it's your group. You know, I'm recovering. How much do you want to get off your whatever drugs, or if you're in recovery, how much do you want to grow? So that, you know, I think with that type of situation, though, depends. I think Katie said it. You know, each situation is different. So we would either encourage the client to challenge them himself. You know, this is my fucking group. This is life or death, or whatever way they want to word it. You know, you're acting the bollocks. Or maybe if it was a bit more sensitive of an issue where somebody was gonna kick off, I might call them in, the male and the female individually.
Yeah.
But I would always sway towards letting a group try and sort it out and challenge people. You know, I'm here to fucking recover. I'm not here to fucking meet a sexual partner. I shouldn't be in meetings, NACAA, looking for fucking women or men. So, you know, it's just highlighting where someone's recovery is at. So that's what I would, as I said, I'd like to be in the situation where I could encourage the client to challenge himself.
So, Colin, just to catch you up, yeah. Katie said, listen, this is really an outside issue for us. People, it was taken on a case-by-case scenario. Adults are adults, and then it went back to Gary as a facilitator, and I'm going to say, very wisely said to put it back on the group to sort their stuff out. So to get the group to facilitate their peers to kind of work it out amongst themselves. Okay, so that's kind of where we are now with this story. Were you off reading the policies? Okay, great. What did the policies say? What's guidance? There we go. Ah,
Yeah.
there
Hello,
you
can you
go.
hear me, David?
Yeah, we can now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got some kind of like, I don't know, security thing on the screen. Yeah, I was off trying to find the policies, procedures,
Oh,
but
yes.
I can't find them.
Oh, okay. Right. That's another problem in
It is
organization.
a problem.
We've got a policy somewhere, but it was sent to me on a
Yeah.
WhatsApp group, and I can't remember what WhatsApp group it was in. But I know we got a policy.
Yeah, because I think that's what they try and say. Don't know. There's a policy somewhere that you can go and find out. But if you can't find the policy, you're in a little bit of trouble.
Fantastic. Oh, I love this dysfunctional organization we've created this afternoon. Okay.
Well,
I
just
think
on what Gary was saying, I caught the back end of what Gary was saying. I'd say this to guys in groups or whoever's I say, yeah, if you're going to get into stuff with each other in early recovery, the chances are both of yous will use, one of yous might not. But yeah, it's a minefield that both sides haven't got the ability or the resilience to cope from the rejection if it doesn't go right or as planned. So I try and like, yeah, but ultimately it's something that happens quite regularly.
Yep, and then people use because they're not fucking in a relationship, and people fucking use just because they fucking use. And like, you know, Kai, when you were a school teacher, what were the rules there as a teacher?
Yeah, in terms of what, as in like two teachers in a relationship or two
Two
students,
teachers in a
or
relationship? Let's go with that one.
just who cares really, as long as they keep the sort of their own boundaries. So, for
Okay,
example,
so
if you keep professional boundaries, then you know, just it is what it is type of thing.
okay,
I think in recovery more so, like I agree that I think it should be generally discouraged because I think, like Colin was mentioning, there's too many feelings involved, even in like a positive, healthy relationship. You know, like nothing upsets me more than if like I have an argument with my partner, even still, and that'll put me in a fucking shitty mood. But now I'm at the point where I can deal with that. But you know, 2-3 years ago, definitely not. Wouldn't have been able to sort of do that without sort of, you know, maybe ended up using or something like that. So I think it should be discouraged. But I think again, like you're supposed to be trying to meet people where they're at. So if they're, you know, like vehement, oh yeah, this is good for me, this is what I want, like unless you've got sort of specific rules and policies in place for it, I think you just kind of have to let it play out.
Ella, in the catering industry, how's it?
I wouldn't know. I don't work in the catering industry.
Sorry, the events industry.
I don't really work in that either. I just make events up. But
Oh, fuck,
I
make
don't
it
know.
easy for me, Ella, please. Oh,
Cleaning industry.
In the cleaning industry, I never work with anyone. I wouldn't sleep with my customers though. I suppose there's one. Oh, well, actually, that was when I was in addiction.
okay.
I'm passing. Don't talk to me.
All right. Daisy, in the pharmaceutical industry?
I think from all my previous jobs, like staff fraternization has been like looked down upon. They try and prevent it where possible, especially between like the vet nurses and the vets. And in the pharmacies, it was not allowed. If you did have a relationship, then you had to report it to HR. And then if anyone, like if any of the other staff had an issue with your relationship or thought it was affecting your work, then they could go to HR and report you for it. And then you'd have to sit down and have a conversation with HR. But I
don't
have no experience.
I don't know about anyone else, but it worries me the talking about like things becoming big, like our organization becoming big, that then we have to have procedures for that type of shit and losing that human connection. Do you understand what I mean? You know, it becoming a corporate being rather than a lived experience recovery organization with people connecting. I understand that we have to keep people safe. I understand that, but it worries me to start thinking along those lines that there has to be rules and regulations in place when people inevitably in addiction fucking hate that, and they're likely to go, fuck off, I'm not doing any of that, and then disappear. I know these conversations has to be had, but just listening to it, it's like, shit, I don't want that to happen in a way. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
So great. So sorry, Daisy, I just want to come in. First of all, are you guys okay are you learning from this kind of fictitious role playing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, is this helpful? All right. So let's let me just hear you, Daisy.
I was just going to say, I do agree, but I think if those with lived experience are the ones writing the procedures and kind of they're the ones in charge that get to deliberate over each case, then I think that gives that little bit of leeway, because we would be able to like openly discuss it case by case and rely on the procedures that we have all agreed on, rather than just some, you know, like you said, some corporate head going, no, that's not allowed, that's not allowed, there's no bending rules, there's no, it's this way or the highway. Whereas I think if we remained in charge, the lived experience we have could kind of guide how we set it up. So I think that makes me a little bit more okay with it. If it was just coming from this big corporate entity that had no idea, then that would be super scary.
All right. So Gary, we've got the message from above. Yep, that we must come up with our own policy and procedure. We're going to deal with this in-house now. So we're going to meet together now, and we need somebody here to volunteer as a scribe, and we're going to develop this policy and procedure now. Who's going to do that? Okay, I'll tell you what.
I'll be the scribe.
There you go. Okay, great.
Little notebook. Where is it?
All right. I'm also going to put on the AI companion, and then maybe that'll capture it for us as well. Does that work? I don't know. All right, go for it, Kai. Okay, who's going to facilitate the container? We'll go for 20 minutes, 21 minutes. And I'm going to keep quiet. So the coaching rule is the container has the answer. Okay. The goal is to come up with a policy. Yep. You've got a time frame of 20 minutes. Kai's going to document it and then disseminate. That's a big fucking word. Disseminate the information to everyone to make sure that they've read it. Yep. And but who's going to facilitate this now?
So the policy and procedure is on the couple having sex or in a relationship on the program. Yeah, so that what it's about. So I think the first thing on that should be treat each situation as individually, you know, rather than an overall thing.
There's David.
He's letting us do it.
Yeah.
Silly man. Yeah, definitely that. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think, Gary's touched on a good point. I think with the policies, I think what you've got to try on my understanding of what policies are is we've got to try and cover as many eventualities of different situations that when it arises, there's a procedure to follow. So if you were to go, because Daisy, fraternising it's called, as in not probably sticking to your professional contracting boundaries. So fraternising is like, I think it's an old word, meaning, relationships outside of what is allowed. Yeah. I think if we draw up just really like simply the first one being you're not allowed to fraternise with it, because I don't know if you can even do that, of saying like in a treatment, some treatment facilities that I know of don't allow that. You're not allowed that openly. You're not allowed to be, if you do, you go. That's what it kind of is. So it'll probably be a policy that, I'm not sure, but I know it's like a rule in that. I know others that are supported housing that don't allow, because I don't think they're allowed to say that they're not allowed to be in a relationship. Yeah, so it's a touchy one, but like quite simply, you're not allowed to have non-platonic, I think it's the word, relationships. Because did it not start off this as a staff member and a resident, or now is it two people who were in treatment together?
Two people. I think we need to decide whether it's like on a day program or in treatment, or if it's volunteering, because I don't think they cross over. So shall we choose one? Say in treatment. Let's say in treatment, shall we? Choose that.
Yeah.
As for that policy. Yeah, I don't think you can say it cannot happen, but maybe along the lines of it's discouraged and it will be looked at on an individual basis. And then then sort of the next point would be, is that relationship impacting their recovery or the group dynamics recovery? So that kind of safeguarding idea, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I would do. I would have like warnings, discourage it, warning systems. You've had your first warning, second warning, final warning. Because I don't think you can realistically put you're not allowed to. Well, yeah, discourage it, as in say you're not allowed to. And when you do, there's consequences of warnings, because like you said, the impact it'll have on the two individuals and the group as a whole is massive. I've seen it over and over.
So can you put in it no relationships?
I know places, Gary, that do that, and you leave straight away. The act of that in Scarborough. If there's any, like you say, any kind of like confirmation from staff or that both would go. That's probably their policy and procedure to do that. But we need to decide what we're going to go with.
I like to be devil's advocate. I always like to be. Do you know what I mean? And what if that is their little window of recovery, and because they've decided, you know, that having a relationship and they get kicked out, and that's that. Do you know what I mean? Because we know some people only have that little window, you know, where they are in that place to do it. So I think again,
how much of a window is it then? If they're in a treatment centre, him and her, and they're in a group together, and he's not fucking disclosing anything. He's not even listening to what's going on in group because he's thinking of her, and she's doing the same. So, you know, while I wish it wasn't kind of the inevitable, but it's like chances of both of them getting it then, you know, what disservice are you doing to them or the rest of the clients? Like, say there's 8, 10 other clients, you know, they're sitting in a group when they've come to take the opportunity of that window and they're all in. And these two who deserve as much as anybody, but they're not all in like the other 10 clients. They're only all in getting their needs met. That's about it. You know, so that's
yeah,
the reality.
I agree. You know, I completely agree. And yeah, I've seen it as well. But I guess to put it down on paper, it's really difficult, isn't it? Because as soon as you start laying down rules, people instantly go, "Whoa, I'm not doing that." You know, they want to. Yeah, I don't know how to word it.
Yeah, I mean, my personal view on it is I would have a zero tolerance, which then holds it holds like like say if I know I'm gonna get caught selling drugs, I know what's gonna happen. I know where I go. Yeah. So if it's a zero tolerance, everybody's clear on, like, there'll be problems. You might get a warning the first time this stops between you two guys, but after that, it's a whatever. So you'll have something in place, because then I think it saves the group and the individuals of going through all that hassle. That then, because I think the rest of the group I'd be like really resentful of the other two guys. Like, I'm kind of missing out here somehow. Yeah, and then it would divert it does. I've had it where I used to have like groups of 30 and 40 of newcomers, and you'd have 3 or 4 different relationships going on. 3 or 4, imagine. So you've got this clique at the back, this clique at the front, because we couldn't, it wasn't a zero tolerance policy. And that's why I kind of say that, because it creates this other dynamic within a group. You end up with groups within a group.
So does everybody in this group now agree that relationships shouldn't be formed within this day program? Because if everybody agrees with that, you can then write a policy, can't you? Obviously, we were just chatting for 10 minutes about the ins and outs of it, but like, to form a policy, we've all got to agree on that policy.
Yeah, I agree.
Raise your hand.
How are you gonna enforce it though? How are you gonna
enforce it? So you enforce it by, first off, you write the policy, don't you? So the policy must say, I don't know if you agree, that any person attending the day program mustn't be involved in or form a relationship whilst attending the program. So that's a clear, do you know what I mean? It's there in black and white.
Yeah.
And it's there for them to sign before they start the day program or whatever program we're running.
Yeah. So far what I've got down as our sort of list of policies. So the individual circumstances are always considered, and specifically like the impact on group and individual recovery. And then are we going for just completely forbidden?
Yeah, because you don't want to leave room for, do you know what I mean? Like loopholes or negotiation. Like it's a rule. It's an important rule. We all know why that rule is there, because it takes people away from. I mean, if you're doing a program, it's what, 12 weeks, 24 weeks. In the grand scheme of things, if you can't keep it in your pants for 12 weeks, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not that big an amount of time, is it really?
What about individuals that have a prior relationship before starting but want to go in at the same time? So like a couple that has both been using together and have both decided to get sober at the same time.
They need to, like,
separate places.
It's got to be separate, because if you have a bond with two people in a group of 10 people, then it becomes about them two people, and like the rest of the group get forgotten about because there's two people. Do you know what I mean? That they become one person, but one main character.
Yeah,
But
codependency.
what if it would be adverse to their own recovery, them separating?
Well, they wouldn't be separated, would they? They'd just be doing their own recovery. You shouldn't be doing your recovery as a
Colin
group. You should
brought
be doing
in codependency. And what do you mean by that, Colin?
Well, I think if you, because I know places that do that, if two say they've been together or they are together coming in, they'll go, either one can come in the first time, then the other one comes in after, because I think they're naturally codependent because they are together, they come as a unit, and the effect that has on the group, whether they've learned that over the years, I'm not sure, but that's kind of what they go with. You either come in separate, they do not take couples because of the impact it has once they get in there.
Yeah.
I mean, like pre-existing relationships don't count, but not at the same time, do they? Like it goes against what you're trying to promote in a group. I mean, recent, like just before I got this job, my partner went back into active addiction, and I had to sort of like take a step back. Well, I was going to take a step back so she could come and take part in a program that I was peer mentoring on, because even that situation, it could be like your favorite. Do you know what I mean? Favoritizing one person, or that that person's getting more support than the rest of the people. Do you know what I mean? You've got to try and keep things separate. Just concentrate on one person.
How do we build tolerance? Do you know what I mean? Because this is what it's about. It's about tolerance of each other and resilience. How do we build that into the policies? Because surely that's what this is about, isn't it? Tolerance of each other, because we're all in recovery and lived experience organisations. And then how do we build the resilience around it? How do we build that into the policy? Do you know what I mean? So coming from lived experience, we all need to be resilient of each other, and then we all need to be tolerant of each other. Do you know what I mean? So how do we build that instead of saying no zero tolerance? I get that because that's quite attractive. Not that's it done. I don't want that. But in actual fact, it's a lived experience, and us coming from lived experience and recovery, we need to build the tolerance and resilience of each other into the policy as well.
Surely that's a separate policy, though. That comes in with another policy. So if you're working on that policy there, but you should also have a policy that supports them as a couple. So one person can do the day program, but we also need to support that other person. And how do we support that other person? So everybody gets an equal chance, equal bite of the apple, as they say, isn't it? Is it cherry? No, no.
Apple? Who you got, yeah.
So what about sort of person-centered approaches as well? Are we taking that into consideration? Because I think we all agree that it's generally a bad idea, but what about people who have, I don't know, who's, for example, they might have been in a relationship and that's helped them to recover?
Look, you're talking about lived experience, and I get that, Charlie. You also, lived experience is great when it's, you know, and we all do. It's from me lived experience from me, because it's usually a positive thing. But lived experience also will tell you that people that get into relationships and treatment centres is not focused on the recovery, and lived experience will also tell you, as far as a couple is concerned, if this is everything to you, then a few weeks, whether it's 12, 14, 16 weeks, separated for a period of time, will not matter to you. But maybe they can see it at the time, but it's up to us to kind of guide them to see that this is what's best.
I think again, though, that's our lived experience, not necessarily.
Exactly.
So, for example, I have, for example, clients who I support that say, for example, without my sorry, I don't know if you can hear them in the background, but without my husband or wife or whatever, I'd be fucking dead now.
Well, so take into consideration this scenario when you're talking about a couple going into group. So I'm in a relationship with my partner, and we both end up in a treatment centre sitting in a group together. So how on earth am I supposed to disclose being unfaithful? The IV using that I might have done that she doesn't know about. How am I going to be completely honest and work with people that are trying to help me when I can't disclose stuff in the group? How am I going to get
Katie.
feedback off my peers? Or how is she going to do it? You know?
Katie, you want to say something?
Yeah,
You
I
can
was
say,
just-
Gary.
I was just going to say it's remembering that difference between lived experience and living experience. You know, we are kind of looking at it from, we have this experience, we know the pitfalls, we know that, but we are not actually living that experience. I get the safeguard, there has to be, and I completely agree with everything you're saying, you know, around the relationships. It's not safe, it is dangerous, but I think you do have to remember the person. Like you said, Kai, you have to remember the person is in there somewheres. I just wouldn't want, like I was saying before, I'm frightened about it because I don't want policies then excluding people, regardless of my own personal opinions. You know, I'm the same as you, Gary. I'm like, that's a massive no. You don't do that, blah, 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 you know.
Yeah.
But that's my own personal experience. And I think we have to be careful not to put our own experiences on to people who are living in that now. Do you know what I mean?
I suppose that if we're the people writing the policies and writing the programs and things, is there not some, like you say, person-centered way of being flexible about the services we provide, so that if a couple did come in, they could have not necessarily group sessions, but some other service that you can provide for them? Because I mean, from my experience, I got sober with my partner, and neither of us would have got sober alone.
Good point.
I think what you can provide in a day program, it would be a lot more than what you could provide within a treatment centre. Where, you know, you can't arrive in a treatment centre and tell people, I just want to do one-to-ones. You know, you can accommodate clients with that in day programs if it's a couple. You know, or even if they've got into a relationship in the service, you can say, right, well, maybe if you work with them both on one-to-ones or one stays in the group. But within a treatment centre, it's, I don't know over there, but in Ireland, it's, you know, it's a lot of group therapy. And while I do see Katie's point of view and Charlie's, that, you know, how can I, in humanity, I want to help people, but I'm also should be really aware of the other 8, 10, 12 people that are going to sit in that group in a treatment centre, you know. It's a thin line.
I
isn't
think
it?
in the case of policy, treatment centre, no. Other places, bit more flexible.
Yeah, basically.
So time out, everyone. Time out, everyone. Just take a breath. Thank you for playing. This was a game. Kai, how did you do with the policy?
Yes, so I got 3, but I think 2 are contradictory. So
Okay.
So individual circumstances are to be considered, specifically like impact on group and individual recovery.
Okay.
But then
So
also
we make
there
it
was,
up as we go along.
But then there was also relationships completely forbidden, which I think's gone, I don't know, but that then contradicts the first one.
Yeah.
And then contract before starting of the actual program of what's expected, so that's clear.
All right. So I just want to come in here. Yeah. So first of all, well done, everyone. I thought this was a great exercise. And I wrote some notes here. So the container started to get lost in this, and then it moved to a kind of a command control tell paradigm. That then the humanity came in, and the purpose of this exercise as well is to become aware of kind of what our own sexual morals and beliefs and relationships, thoughts and values are around this stuff. And what I'm hoping is that the policies can protect you as individuals working within an organization that goes into an environment that's in a culture of adversity or a culture of addiction, because it gets charged in there. Yep. And I could feel the container getting heated. Yeah. How's everyone feeling now? Let's just do it. I know we said we were going to finish at 3:30, but I'm so excited. I want to go till 4. So fuck it, we're going till 4.
Ah,
Jump off, jump off. Okay. So Kai, let's start with you. What did you learn? How are you feeling? And what was it like trying to come up with a policy?
I'm feeling fine and fucking chaotic. Like just
Right.
yeah, I think it's like, especially the like losing track of things, because like I think we sort of ended up, oh fuck's sake, my battery's low. We ended up on sort of one like just in a completely sort of different place from where we started, if that makes sense. Like you sort of mentioned, we were started going into like, okay, but you know, what's your story? What's your story? This type of thing, rather than what are we actually doing, if that makes sense.
Colin, what came up for you? Can you unmute, mate? Colin?
Hello. Yeah, I enjoyed the debate. It's something that I've been talking about and debating over for 6 years now. So I've got like a lot of acceptance around the of how realistic we are to get this. Yeah, and there's so many different opinions and approaches and circumstances. Yeah, it's yeah. But I enjoy that. I just say my own personal views and opinions of what I've seen and experienced, and then go, theirs is different, man. Theirs is different. Plus, there's
I
a lot
saw
of
you
stuff.
getting kind of worked up in there. Okay.
Yeah,
Daisy?
yeah.
I feel all right. It's a lot of back and forth with the policies, and you want to make exceptions, but then if you make too many exceptions, then the rules aren't rules anymore. Yeah, it's really hard. And the thing is, I suppose everyone's experiences are different, and you want to be inclusive to all needs and all experiences, but the reality is like services have a budget and you can't just do everything for everyone all the time. And you've got to kind of, you know, set it out how it
Complex
is.
system, huh?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Gary, how you do?
I'm good, yeah. Suppose it gives you an insight. It's all very well, you know, when I'm sitting here and I'm like, not this and that. In reality, though, I was thinking, if you put two clients on front of me from my own community, and they're just fucking smashed trying to get clean, you know, I'm probably going to be sending them messages at 10:30 at night again. Have an idea. So, you know, it's easy sitting here saying it, but when people are in front of you and they're just trying to get fucking clean, it's quite different.
Oh, I love that. Ella?
Hello. Yeah, I kind of I get a bit kind of despondent in things like that. Not despondent, that's not the right word. I kind of like, I'm more of an observer when it comes to things like this, and I find it quite stressful. So I kind of zone out for a little while. I don't know. I don't know.
It is stressful. And that's the whole point of it. So, and I'm hoping. So, first of all, I'm really pleased that you can say I get stressful and I feel despondent, because that is something that if you're not looked after around that, you're going to suffer, and the organization will suffer if you leave. So I really appreciate your honesty there. Tony?
I struggled in that a bit, I think. In my mind, I'd got the task, and the task was to write down what we had to write down. I forgot the name of the word. And it was like I was hearing all this different stuff, and everyone was talking about the same thing, but we weren't doing what I thought we were supposed to be doing. So I felt like I had to like bring everyone back to I suppose I went into work mode again, and it was like,
Yeah, you just can we just fucking write it down now? Just write it down. Let's get this piece of paper, just complete the task. Let's go.
like in my brain, I don't deal with chaos very well, and it's like if something is doing, I need to do that thing straight away so I can move on to the next thing. I suppose I'm a man of action. I like to get things done. I have no patience whatsoever, as Katie will tell you, and Daisy and Ella. So yeah, I just felt like I needed to bring everybody back to the thing, and
I so relate to you, Tony. I'm the same. I can get like just fucking let's get it, and then I don't allow the process to happen and to hear all the voices. Charlie?
I enjoyed watching everybody in the container, if I'm honest with you. There was like a couple of sets of thinking. There was the kind of unconditional love that came from Katie and Kai. Tony was trying to get to A to B. And then we had Gary and Colin, and they were getting really agitated, and they were talking zero tolerance and stuff. And I could see Colin like wanting to get in. He was like, with his hands in his face at one time, And then Gary's coming in, and then Kai's trying to break up the fight. And for me, it was just great just watching it all just happen. I know fuck all about policies, absolutely nothing, But it was good to be in the interaction. I think we probably had a bit. I think we're probably going to have a better fight here than what the Tyson Fury and Usyk at the weekend.
Hey, Katie?
Yeah, I liked that. I liked having that conversation because I can be swayed either way very quickly, and I like being in that situation where I can look at it from all perspectives, and I can have my own opinions, which are a certain way, but I need to think outside of my own opinions and my own experience, and remember to look at things as a whole rather than from Katie's view or Katie's experience. Yeah. So I liked it. I like having a little bit of a chat like that.
Great. Okay. So to wrap this up, in this fictitious organization that we're creating, in situations like this, there's going to be a multidisciplinary team decision around this. We're going to be looking at the influence from the other professionals out there that we work with, psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, and they will have rank for when we get lost. That's what I'm saying here as the owner of this organization, or the person that sits with accountability here. Does that make sense for everyone? I mean, we're just role playing here. So I'll go back. Listen, we got a policy. We make it up as we go along. We try to be as human as possible. It's quite loose, but it's a very complex issue. And we look for guidance here around this. Yeah. Our focus is saving lives and trying to stop people with addiction, harm around that, and to get into recovery. And we know that it's a journey for each individual, and our policy is to look after our staff first and their well-being. Oh, all right, guys. So let's start the checkout. I want to say I really enjoyed today, and we'll come back on the 9th of January. So we'll take a break for 2 weeks. If any of you want to get in touch with me on WhatsApp or via the app or anything over the Christmas period, I would love that because I don't have a life. Yeah. No, but I'm really very grateful. I've really enjoyed this afternoon. So I check out with joy, a lot of joy and pride, and we'll go popcorn style. So when you're ready to go, just pop.
I'm called. Yeah, I've checked. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed the back and forth and all the different sides. Yeah, have a great Christmas, guys, and I'll see you on the 9th.
See you, Colin.
Yeah, I'm checking out good. I enjoyed that. I've been away for 3 weeks, I think. I can't remember, but good to be sort of back in the swing of things.
I'm checking out quite charged. I really enjoyed that my last hour. That was really exciting. So thanks everyone. Have a lovely Christmas and see you on the 9th.
I will check out there. Yeah, same as Charlie. Really enjoyed that. It's good to talk with other coaches. I haven't had that the past year. And also always learning. I think Kate or Charlie, I'm not sure, said it about the difference between lived experience and a living experience. So yeah, I did take that away from today, But yeah, enjoyed that. Happy Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, I enjoyed it today as well. Thank you. I'm checking out feeling relieved that I'm finishing today. I've got 2 weeks off and I'm so happy. I didn't realize, actually talking about that stuff and looking after your own recovery, realizing that I'm getting a bit resentful and impatient with people. And it's probably time I need to have that break. So yeah, it's a good reminder. It's good to have the chat. And it was really nice to meet the new guys on here today as well. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'll see you on the 9th.
Yeah, check out, feeling. I don't know. I've enjoyed today as well. It's been a good conversation, and it's good to hear everyone else's sort of views and what they do and how they deal with things. And yeah, it's always interesting. Yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, I'll check out. I feel a bit embarrassed by my little overshare earlier. A little panicking a little bit that it's online. But apart from that, I feel really tired. I feel like I just need to have a holiday. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm tired, But apart from that, I'm feeling all right. That was a lot of feelings in one go. Happy Christmas, guys.
You're feeling all the feelings today.
I'm on a roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I like a debate. I like listening to everyone else's points of view and seeing where everyone else comes from. I think that's great. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this afternoon. So Merry Christmas, everyone. And I'll see you in the new year. Enjoy your holidays.
All right.
Is that everyone?
So think. Oh, it's Kai checked out. Yeah.
Sorry, my internet fucked up.
Oh, there's 2 of you. Whoa.
Whoa.
That was weird.
Oh, thank fuck there's only one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to have a relationship with myself, and I wanted to bring my partner to here to the group. And I was like,
Is that your way of dealing with being on your own at Christmas, David?
Yeah.
Just
There you go. Cool. All right. So, Ella, just what you embarrassed about? Must I delete the recording?
When you asked me what my catering policy was, but I was actually a cleaner, and then I divulged information that I didn't actually divulge, but Now I'm this. I probably
Made
don't
it
know.
pretty damn clear. So if people didn't get it,
I
they've got it
forgot all
now.
about it, but obviously now I'll have to go and tell your work colleagues what you did.
Maybe just delete the last half an hour.
But that was a juicy part.
It's the best bit.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got a lot of people know my situation anyway, and that was my past experiences. So I'm bringing in my past experience, lived experience into this.
Well, Ella, your experience will get you promoted in this organisation. So well done.
That is a way to get promoted.
You can double your salary.
Much you get paid? Who
Not
gets
in the
paid?
forward trusts and everything. Can't even get a pay rise. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that. Can you delete that part? I just
All right,
need to stop talking.
All right, everyone, let's go before Ella puts her foot in it again.
See you all later. Have a great Christmas.
Bye.
Take care.
You too.
See you
Yes,
later.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.